So we at the Italian Federation for Human Rights have been following several cases when Turkey was at the European Court of Human Rights in Strasbourg for judgment about some abuses. And typically we observed that the European Court of Human Rights sentenced against Turkey for violations, for instance, of Article 7. So for the point of the European Convention of Human Rights that says a very ancient sentence from Latin, nullum crimen sine lege and nulla pena sine lege, so no crime without a specific law and no punishment without a specific law. Unfortunately, the cases in Turkey in the last few years several times showed that, in my opinion, and also in the opinion of the European Court, Turkey violated this very basic principle of law. So there have been trials, sentences, imprisonments for thousands of people without a real crime. And this is something that is a matter of concern for human rights defenders. I am here this time in Istanbul to follow one specific case, the case against tens of people, including some 37 young girls, with some strange accusation to me. The accusation was that they may have been part of an armed terrorist group. But as far as I understand, by reading all the proper materials and watching some hearings of the trial, there was no basis for such an accusation. Again, there was an accusation of some crime that especially the girls certainly didn't commit. The case was, for instance, about girls meeting with other girls, sharing an apartment, studying together, exchanging messages on some communication channels such as WhatsApp. So something very normal for people and specifically for young girls. So where was the crime? Also, I noticed during the hearings that I observed that sometimes, in my understanding, the tribunal intimidated the defendants, especially the young girls. It is quite evident that a girl, a teenager, can be intimidated by the fact itself of being in a criminal tribunal for such a crime that certainly they didn't commit. And when the president of the tribunal speaks in a certain way with this young girl, it is, in my opinion, a way of intimidating them. So this is something that should not happen. And it is particularly true when the defendants are so young. In such cases, in this time it is about Turkey, but it can be also for other countries. The message of the so-called human rights international community, and specifically from non-government organizations that work for human rights, is let's follow with attention what is happening. In the case of Turkey, Turkey is, like Italy, a member of the Council of Europe, and therefore is also a party of the European Convention of Human Rights. Turkey is also a member of NATO, is a member of the OSCE, the Organization for Security and Cooperation in Europe. So we have a lot of international institutions in common with Turkey, and we, in our case as an Italian NGO with a lot of international connection, international partners, are somehow entitled to understand what is happening in Turkey. And I think that all the international human rights community may have a say in this. We would very much like that Turkey strictly follows the international law and in general the main pillars of justice. It is, let's say, a common interest for Europe. Of course, I devoted several decades of my life to human rights. I have been witnessing a lot of transformations, especially in Central and Eastern Europe, but not only. I was part in one of the last demonstrations back in 1989 against the wall in Berlin, and I was monitoring trials with political implications in several other countries and so on. And I saw like some dictatorships ended. And always I have been trying with my organizations to be on the side of people that were struggling for freedom and human rights. So this is something that all the humans in the world, all humanity should share. Struggling for freedom, respect of human rights, the rule of law and justice is a common goal. I may only encourage everybody in every country, in this case in Turkey, can be in any other country of the world, to continue hoping for human rights, democracy, freedom, and be proud of themselves. If they're working for freedom and justice, this is the good way. I'm here as basically the president of the Italian Federation for Human Rights and also as an individual expert in this field. With the Italian Federation for Human Rights, formerly Italian Helsinki Committee, we have been working a lot on several projects and we deal with human rights for many countries. We have been doing missions in African countries, Asian countries. We are working on human rights in Latin America, still Eastern Europe. We are, of course, on the side of people that suffer from wars, for unjust wars, like the people of Ukraine in this very moment. And we are following also the situation of human rights in our own country, in Italy. We work to monitor the penitentiary condition of people deprived of liberty, for instance. So we do really quite a big work. And I personally used to attend the main international fora on human rights, like the United Nations Human Rights Council in Geneva. I will be even in a few days once more in Geneva at the United Nations for a side event on human rights in Iran, for instance. I will also be as far as to Indonesia in a few weeks to have an analysis of the studies in the Faculty of Political Science in Sumatra, as I am a political scientist. And so really an international activities, always on the side of human rights.